Hey, let me explain something to you today. Something simple, but very powerful. Sometimes we look at our life, at our struggles, at the things we are facing, and we quietly think inside, maybe God doesn't work like he did in the Bible anymore. Maybe miracles were only for those people. Maybe I'm not good enough or spiritual enough for God to notice me. But listen, that's not true. Not even a little. I want you to understand this in the most personal way. The Jesus you read about in the Bible is the same Jesus who is standing beside you today. He hasn't changed. He hasn't lost his power. He hasn't lost his compassion. He hasn't stopped listening. He hasn't stopped loving. We change, our situations change, but he never changes. Let's go through the Bible stories together, not as history, but as reminders of who Jesus still is today. And I'll explain it to you simply, just like I would talk to someone sitting right in front of me. If Adam could know him as a father, then so can you. Think about Adam for a second. He literally walked with God, talked to him like we talk to a friend sitting beside us. He knew God not as a faraway judge, but as a close, loving father. And Jesus came so that you could have that same relationship again. When you pray today, you're not talking to a distant God. You're talking to the same Father who walked with Adam in the garden. If Eve experienced his care at home, then he cares about your home too. Eve had responsibilities, pressure, emotions, mistakes, just like us, and God cared for her deeply. Jesus still cares about your home, your daily stress, your heart, your responsibilities, your family. Nothing in your life is too small for him. If Noah found a refuge in the storm, then you can too. Noah was surrounded by destruction and fear. The whole world was shaking, but God became his safe place. Maybe your storm isn't rain and floods, maybe it's anxiety, heartbreak, family issues, or financial pressure. But the same God who protected Noah can protect you in your storm today. He still builds arks around people who trust him. If Abraham knew him as a friend, then you can too. Isn't it amazing that Abraham was called the friend of God? A normal man, with weaknesses, with struggles, yet God called him friend. Jesus wants that kind of relationship with you too. Not just religion, not just rituals, not just Sunday prayers, but friendship. He wants to walk with you, talk with you, and be close to you every single day. If Moses knew him as the Redeemer, then he can redeem your life too. Moses saw God deliver a whole nation. He saw God break chains, split seas, and rewrite destinies. You may not be in Egypt, but maybe you're stuck in fear, guilt, shame, addiction, or loneliness. Jesus is still a redeemer. He still sets people free. He still opens impossible doors. If Rahab experienced his grace, then his grace is also for you. Rahab had a painful past. People judged her, society rejected her. But God saw her heart, and God lifted her higher than anyone expected. Jesus still works like that. He takes broken people and gives them a brand new future. Your past doesn't disqualify you. Your mistakes don't cancel God's plan. He's the same gracious Savior today. If David knew him as a shepherd, then he is guiding you too. David said, "The Lord is my shepherd." A shepherd knows each sheep personally. He knows their wounds, their fears, their weakness. Jesus is that shepherd for you today. He restores you when you are tired, guides you when you're confused, protects you when you feel alone. If Elijah knew him as the Almighty, then he is still powerful today. Elijah prayed, and God answered with fire. He prayed again, and rain returned after 3 years. The God who answered Elijah's prayers is the same God who hears you. Your prayers are not too small. Your situation is not too big. He still moves in power. If Daniel knew him as the one who shuts the mouth of lions, then he can silence your fears too. Daniel slept in the lion's den, not because the lions became soft, but because God became strong. You might not have lions around you, but you may have fear, pressure, stress, or enemies. Jesus is still the lion tamer. He still shuts the mouths of whatever tries to destroy your peace. If Mary Magdalene knew him as the bondage breaker, then he can break your chains too. Mary was broken, rejected, tormented. But one touch from Jesus changed everything. Whatever chains you feel, fear, addiction, insecurity, Jesus can break them. He still sets people free. If Martha knew him as the promise keeper, then his promises will not fail you. Martha watched Jesus raise Lazarus. She saw with her own eyes that when Jesus gives a promise, he keeps it. Whatever he has promised you, guidance, strength, peace, hope, he will fulfill it. If Lazarus knew him as resurrection and life, then he can revive what feels dead in your life. Lazarus was completely dead, hopeless, silent, buried. But Jesus called his name, and everything changed. Maybe some part of your life feels dead, your dreams, your confidence, your relationships. But Jesus still resurrects. Nothing is too dead for him. If Bartimaeus knew him as the light of the world, then he can bring light into your darkness. One cry from Bartimaeus, Jesus, have mercy. And Jesus stopped. Think about that. He stopped for one man. He will stop for you too. Your cry matters to him. If John saw him as the king on the throne, then that king also knows your name. John saw Jesus in full glory, shining, powerful, eternal. That same king sees your tears, hears your prayers, and walks with you every day. So let me ask you, do you know him? Not know about him, not heard about him, not read about him, but do you personally know him? Because if Adam knew him, if Noah knew him, if Abraham knew him, if Moses knew him, if David knew him, if Mary, Martha, Lazarus, and John knew him, then surely you can know him too. He hasn't changed. He is still loving, still powerful, still gentle, still near, still listening, still calling your name. All you have to say is, Jesus, I want to know you, and he will come close.